Genoa City is thrown into chaos as Malcolm Winters delivers a shocking family revelation that changes everything for Lily Winters. At the same time, Kane Ashby issues a chilling warning to Phyllis Summers and begins plotting ruthless payback against Victor Newman and Phyllis. Holden is blindsided by a stunning truth about his past, while Lily is left devastated after Kane shuts down Phyllis's bold offer. As tensions rise, Genoa City faces dangerous new threats when Matt sets his sights on the Newman brothers. A life-saving twist emerges as Holden may be Malcolm's only hope, setting the stage for explosive consequences ahead. Welcome to A Mysterious Time TV, where the drama unfolds and the stories captivate. Join us as we explore the fascinating world of Y&R the Restless, uncovering untold stories and hidden truths behind the headlines. Malcolm's shocking family reveal rocks Genoa City as Kane issues a chilling warning to Phyllis. The April 8th episode of the Y&R and the Restless delivers a wave of emotional upheaval as long-buried secrets come to light and tensions explode across multiple storylines. Malcolm Winters faces a life-altering revelation, Holden's identity is turned upside down, Lily is dealt heartbreaking medical news, and Kane's heated clash with Phyllis ends with a threat that leaves her visibly shaken. At the GCAC, Lily reconnects with Malcolm, who apologizes for his earlier confrontation with Kane. Lily brushes it off and reassures him that his medical condition will remain private until he decides otherwise. However, she gently encourages him to confide in Devin and Nate, pointing out that if she turns out to be a compatible donor, they will inevitably need to be informed. Malcolm remains hesitant, explaining that his care team is based in New York and he prefers to continue treatment under his trusted doctor, Stephanie Simmons, who, he reveals, is already in town. Though surprised, Lily is relieved to hear it's not due to worsening news. Meanwhile, tensions simmer nearby as Kane keeps a watchful eye on the room, until Phyllis pulls his attention back to her. She presses him to answer the lingering question about who he's targeting for revenge. Kane deflects at first, asking to be left alone, but Phyllis persists. When she offers to walk away in exchange for an answer, Kane coolly suggests she might be the one on his list. Phyllis responds with sarcasm, but Kane doesn't hold back. He claims that taking her down would make him a hero in a town where she's widely disliked. Phyllis insists others are simply envious of her success, but Kane counters harshly, saying people don't admire her, they pity her. He goes further, criticizing her abilities, her reputation, and even her relationship with her children, insisting that everything she has rests on shaky ground. Back with Lily, she continues to push Malcolm to consider family support during his treatment, urging him to stay close rather than returning to New York. Malcolm reassures her that it's only a transfusion and promises she'll meet his doctor soon. Confident she could be a donor match, Lily remains hopeful as Malcolm heads off to his meeting. Elsewhere, Phyllis continues her relentless pursuit of Kane, complaining that no one in town has tried to truly understand her. Kane, clearly uninterested, tells her bluntly that he doesn't care about her at all. According to him, she can have anything she wants, except his attention. Undeterred, Phyllis follows him and attempts to entice him with a lucrative offer, a leadership role in her AI division. Kane immediately rejects the idea, unwilling to work under her or let her control his innovations. Phyllis tries to appeal to their past camaraderie, but Kane sees through it, pointing out that her offers often feel more like insults. She dismisses his concerns, framing it as a simple business deal, her money, her risk, his reward. The conversation takes a turn when Phyllis notices Kane glancing toward Lily. Suspicious, she questions whether Lily is his true target. Kane refuses to engage further, warning her to stop pushing. He makes it clear that any connection with her is dangerous, accusing her of manipulating everyone around her. When Phyllis challenges him to rethink his words, Kane delivers a final blow, reminding her that her success was built using something he created, and implying he could just as easily take it all back. With that, he walks away, leaving Phyllis visibly unsettled. Kane then approaches Lily, showing concern for her well-being. Though surprised by his empathy, Lily keeps her distance, telling him she needs support, but not from him. Kane respects her wishes and leaves. Shortly after, Lily makes a call to arrange compatibility testing for Malcolm. Her hope is quickly crushed when she learns that her past cancer treatments disqualify her from being a donor. As she processes the devastating news, both Kane and Phyllis observe from afar, each taking in the moment for their own reasons. At Crimson Lights, another storyline unfolds as Holden confronts Stephanie about the urgent news she has for him. Fearing he may have inherited a fatal genetic condition, Holden is relieved to learn that's not the case, but the truth is no less shocking. Stephanie reveals that the man Holden believed to be his father is not his biological parent. She explains that she was already pregnant when she became involved with Jerry, who knowingly chose to raise Holden as his own. Holden is stunned, especially upon learning that his biological father is still alive, and unaware of his existence. Struggling to process this revelation, Holden questions why he's only being told now. Stephanie admits that circumstances, and timing, always got in the way, but insists his biological father is a good man who now needs his help. Before Holden can fully respond, Stephanie leaves to meet Malcolm. Their conversation begins with tension, as Malcolm resists the idea of being passed off to another doctor. However, Stephanie soon shares critical news: Lily is not a viable donor due to her medical history. Malcolm is devastated, realizing he raised her hopes too soon. Still, Stephanie assures him there are other possibilities. That's when Holden arrives. In a moment that changes everything, Stephanie introduces Holden as Malcolm's son, and Malcolm as Holden's biological father. The revelation hits hard. Malcolm is stunned that Stephanie kept this from him, especially given that their past relationship ended amicably. Stephanie explains that at the time, both had moved on with other partners, and they chose not to disrupt the life they had built. Holden, still reeling, demands to know what Malcolm needs from him. The answer is heavy. Malcolm requires a bone marrow transplant, and with Lily unable to help, Holden may be his best chance. The weight of the situation isn't lost on anyone. Malcolm expresses discomfort, acknowledging how overwhelming this must be for a son he never knew. Stephanie takes responsibility for the situation, and Holden agrees that the burden lies with her. As Malcolm steps away to call Lily, Holden learns another shocking detail: Lily is his half-sister. Stephanie is caught off guard to discover that Holden already knows Lily, though he downplays their connection as complicated. Defensive about her past decisions, Stephanie insists her only goal now is to save Malcolm, for everyone involved, including Holden. With lives intersecting in unexpected ways and emotions running high, this episode leaves Genoa City forever changed. Next update. Malcolm drops a life-changing bombshell on Lily, while Holden faces a stunning truth about his past. Tuesday, April 7, 2026. Emotions run high as Malcolm delivers devastating news to Lily. Kane sets his sights on a bold new strategy, and Holden's mother arrives with a revelation that could alter everything he thought he knew. At Crimson Lights, Holden is quietly focused on his phone, browsing job listings while enjoying his coffee. His attention is interrupted by a message from his mother, who says she's running behind but will arrive soon. The update clearly lifts his spirits, until Audra walks in and notices his grin. Audra immediately suspects his good mood might have something to do with Claire. Holden brushes it off, but she remains wary, concerned he might expose their shared secret. She reminds him that doing so would only implicate him as well. Their conversation quickly turns tense, filled with subtle jabs and lingering mistrust. As they continue sparring, Audra criticizes Holden's current situation, unemployed and seemingly hung up on the past. The discussion shifts to familiar names like Kyle, Noah, and Claire, with Holden even floating the idea of confessing everything about Los Angeles in hopes of winning Claire over. Audra shuts that down instantly, warning him not to even consider it. Her threats escalate just as Dr. Stephanie Simmons enters and demands to know who Audra thinks she is for speaking to her son that way. Holden quickly tries to defuse the situation, introducing Audra as nothing more than an old acquaintance. Though Stephanie clearly doesn't buy it, Holden insists their interaction was harmless. Audra attempts to smooth things over by formally introducing herself, but Stephanie responds coldly before ushering her out so she can speak privately with her son. Once alone, Stephanie makes her feelings clear. She believes Audra is trouble. Holden, growing impatient, presses his mother to explain why she rushed there. Stephanie hesitates, admitting that what she needs to say isn't easy. She finally reveals that it's time he learned the truth about his father, a revelation that will change everything. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Kane receives troubling financial updates. A business associate informs him that his assets have essentially disappeared. Shocked, Kane struggles to process the news as he's told no one knows where the money went, it's simply gone. To make matters worse, no financial institutions are willing to back him. Though he still has some funds tucked away offshore, it's not nearly enough to sustain his ambitions. Realizing he has limited options, Kane begins thinking strategically and ruthlessly. If he can't rebuild through traditional means, he'll have to take from others. He orders his associate to identify vulnerable companies he can target. When the man hesitates, Kane fires him on the spot, signaling just how serious and dangerous his new plan is. At Summer's conglomerate, Phyllis is experiencing the opposite kind of day. She wraps up a successful business deal and celebrates her victory with a call to Lauren. Feeling empowered, Phyllis revels in her success and independence, convinced she doesn't need anyone else in Genoa City to thrive. Over at the club, Lily runs into Devin and Nate. Although tension still lingers between them, they attempt to keep things civil and invite her to join them. Lily declines, explaining she's expecting someone. Devin immediately hopes it's not Kane, noting the complications he brings. Lily admits Kane isn't speaking to her, and she reflects on her own regrets regarding their relationship. Their conversation is interrupted when Malcolm arrives. He greets Devin and Nate warmly before turning his full attention to Lily, calling her his baby girl. His sudden appearance surprises everyone, and he soon asks Lily if they can talk privately. Curious, Devin watches as Lily leaves with Malcolm, wondering what could be so important. In the jazz lounge, Malcolm and Lily pause in front of Neil's portrait, both reflecting on how much they miss him. Drawing strength from the memory of his brother, Malcolm prepares to share difficult news. Lily senses his unease and grows nervous. Malcolm then reveals the truth: he has been diagnosed with aplastic anemia, a rare and potentially fatal condition. He explains that without treatment, the disease could take his life. The reason he's come to her, he says, is because he needs her help to survive. Stunned, Lily asks what she can do. Malcolm tells her he requires a bone marrow transplant, and family members often provide the best match. Without hesitation, Lily agrees to get tested, determined to do whatever it takes. She feels honored that he turned to her and recalls how her family has faced similar battles before, like when Drew saved Olivia's life. Determined and emotional, Lily promises Malcolm that he will overcome this. She couldn't save Neil, but she hopes this time will be different. Back in the dining room, Devin grows increasingly concerned about what Malcolm might have told Lily. He speculates with Nate, even wondering if it somehow involves Kane. Their frustration with Kane resurfaces, with Devin calling him a constant problem and suspecting Lily may still have feelings for him. Nate, however, isn't convinced that relationship can be repaired. Their discussion is interrupted when Kane himself appears. When Devin questions why he's still around, Kane makes it clear he has no intention of leaving. Tensions flare as Nate mocks his current standing, suggesting he's no longer relevant. Devin warns him to stay away from his family, but Kane stands his ground, hinting at bigger plans. Back in the lounge, Malcolm continues explaining the road ahead: chemotherapy, radiation, and the hope of remission if the transplant succeeds. Though nothing is guaranteed, Lily pledges to stand by him every step of the way. Soon after, Phyllis arrives at the club and overhears Kane declaring he wants nothing to do with Lily. She sarcastically congratulates him for finally letting go. When Lily and Malcolm return, Phyllis warmly greets Malcolm, and the two share a friendly reunion. She even invites him to visit her office. However, the mood shifts when Kane confronts Malcolm. Malcolm immediately warns him to stay away from his family, and Kane responds in kind before storming off. The tension is unmistakable. As the evening winds down, Malcolm receives a message and tells Lily he needs to meet someone. He promises they'll reconnect later before leaving Devin and Nate behind, who remain concerned. When they question Lily, she insists everything is fine, though it's clear she's hiding the truth. At the bar, Phyllis approaches Kane again, pleased he's finally moved on from Lily. She celebrates her business success while probing him about his intentions. Sensing his determination to stay in town, she wonders aloud if he's plotting revenge, and if so, against whom? Lily? Victor? Or even her? Kane's subtle smirk suggests the answer might be all of the above. Meanwhile, back at Crimson Lights, Stephanie prepares to reveal a long-hidden secret to Holden. Struggling with the weight of her words, she finally tells him that the truth about his father will change his life forever, leaving Holden bracing for a revelation that could redefine his entire identity. Next update. Young and the Restless twist, Kane plots ruthless payback against Victor and Phyllis. Kane Ashby is about to hit rock bottom, and from there, he's ready to become more dangerous than ever. After losing everything he worked for, Kane is no longer interested in playing the hero. Instead, he's shifting gears, embracing a darker mindset, and setting his sights on reclaiming power by any means necessary, even if that means taking from others just like it was done to him. At the center of his anger are two people he holds responsible for his downfall: Victor Newman and Phyllis Summers. With his empire in ruins, Kane is now quietly plotting a calculated and potentially devastating revenge against both of them. Kane faces financial ruin. This week brings a crushing revelation for Kane when he learns that he's essentially broke. His accountant delivers the shocking news that Arabesque's assets have vanished, with no clear explanation as to where the money went. Frustrated and desperate, Kane pushes his accountant to bend the rules, but when the man refuses, Kane fires him on the spot. Still, questions remain. Kane previously invested in several major properties around Genoa City, including the GCAC, along with other real estate holdings. There's also his luxury train and that French chateau he once enjoyed. None of these have been addressed in the fallout, leaving it unclear whether they've also been lost or simply overlooked. Regardless, Kane's focus has shifted. He knows exactly who he blames for his current situation. Victor's actions, combined with the chaos surrounding Lily Winters, played a huge role in bringing Kane down. But it was Phyllis who delivered the decisive blow, stealing the AI system and handing it over to Victor, which ultimately led to Arabesque's destruction. Now, Kane is done being passive. If others can take what isn't theirs, he's prepared to do the same. Phyllis pushes her luck. After a tense week that included clashes with Devin Hamilton and Nate Hastings, and a clear declaration that he's done with Lily, Kane finds himself face-to-face with Phyllis once again. Phyllis wastes no time stirring the pot. She questions whether Kane is truly finished with Lily, then mocks how long it took him to walk away. Later, she follows him to a bar and criticizes him for how he handled his feelings, claiming it was painful to watch him lose himself over Lily. At the same time, Phyllis can't resist bragging about her own success, proudly talking up Summer's conglomerate and how well things are going under her leadership. Kane, however, has little interest in engaging. When he avoids her, she starts to wonder if the real reason he's still in town is revenge. And she's not wrong. While Kane definitely has Victor in his crosshairs, Phyllis may be underestimating just how much danger she's in. She played a major role in his downfall, and there's a strong chance he plans to make her pay for it. A bold move against Phyllis. Phyllis currently controls the most valuable prize of all, Newman Enterprises, which she took and rebranded as Summer's conglomerate. It's the crown jewel of Victor's legacy, and she's reveling in her victory. But that could make her the perfect target. Kane may decide the best way to strike back is to take everything she's gained. Not only would that strip Phyllis of her power, but it would also hit Victor where it hurts most, his empire. Phyllis has plenty to answer for. Beyond handing over the AI that destroyed Arabesque, she also went to extreme lengths to secure her position, even knocking Kane out to seize control of Newman assets for herself. In her mind, she justified her actions, but that won't matter to Kane. With official spoilers hinting that Phyllis will attempt to tempt Kane, things could take an interesting turn. She might try to pull him back into her orbit, possibly even rekindle their physical relationship, or offer to team up against Victor. But Kane could be playing a much deeper game. Instead of giving Phyllis what she wants, he might pretend to go along with her plans, gaining her trust while secretly setting her up for a massive fall. He could lead her on emotionally, letting her believe she has control, only to betray her at the perfect moment. The AI factor. There's also the lingering question of the AI itself. While it's believed to be gone, there's reason to suspect otherwise. Amanda Sinclair could be holding a backup, or the original developer might still have access to the system. Given Kane's history of always thinking ahead, especially during his time operating under an alias, it seems unlikely he would allow something so valuable to disappear completely. If Kane does have access to the AI again, it could serve as his ultimate weapon, a hidden advantage he can deploy when the time is right. Amanda's potential involvement adds another layer of intrigue. As Kane's trusted ally, she might be willing to help him reclaim what was stolen, especially if she views the situation as correcting an injustice. Kane's strategic endgame. While Kane may be ruthless, he's not without limits. It's possible he'll avoid targeting Newman Media out of respect for Billy Abbott and others connected to it. Instead, he may focus solely on the main company, Phyllis's prized Summer's conglomerate. If his plan succeeds, Kane could not only take the company away from her but also reveal that he never intended to be with her again. A brutal emotional blow might follow, with Kane cutting deep and leaving Phyllis completely shattered, turning the tables on Victor. But Kane's revenge doesn't stop with Phyllis. Victor remains his ultimate opponent, and taking him down will require a smarter, more calculated approach. Holding on to Newman Enterprises himself might not be the best move, since Victor would never stop trying to reclaim it. Instead, Kane could make a bold and unexpected decision. He might seize control of Chancellor Industries from Victor and keep that for himself, possibly running it alongside Billy. This would not only restore some balance but also bring satisfaction to others who've been impacted by Victor's actions. Then comes the real twist. Kane could return Newman Enterprises to Nikki Newman, but with strict conditions. Victor would be completely cut off from the company. No ownership, no influence, not even access to the building. By doing this, Kane achieves multiple goals at once. He restores the Newman legacy to the family while stripping Victor of his power and control. Nikki and the rest of the family could continue the business without Victor's interference, leaving him isolated. It's the kind of move that would hit Victor harder than any direct attack. A revenge that changes everything. If Kane pulls this off, it could force a major shift within the Newman family. With the company back in their hands, they might push Victor to step aside, ending the cycle of power struggles once and for all. For Victor, it would be a devastating blow, losing not just his empire, but also his influence over the family he claims to protect. For Phyllis, it would mean losing everything she fought to gain, along with the realization that she was outplayed from the start. And for Kane, it would mark a complete transformation, from a man who lost it all to one who rebuilt his power through strategy, deception, and perfectly executed revenge. The only question left is how far he's willing to go, and who will be left standing when it's all over. Next update. Heartbreak and revelations, Lily devastated as Kane shuts down Phyllis's bold offer. The Wednesday, April 8th episode of the Y&RShockwave delivered emotional setbacks and shocking truths, leaving several lives forever changed. At the athletic club, Lily Winters agreed to keep Malcolm Winters' condition private, at least until they confirmed whether she could be a stem cell donor. Malcolm, however, urged Lily not to carry guilt if she wasn't a match, making it clear he didn't want her blaming herself for something beyond her control. He also revealed that his treatment would take place in New York, where his medical team, including Dr. Stephanie Simmons, someone from his past, would oversee his care. Elsewhere, Phyllis Summers pitched an ambitious proposal to Kane Ashby. She offered to finance a cutting-edge AI project and even suggested placing him in charge of her division. But Kane wasn't interested. He quickly pointed out that anything he created under her umbrella would belong to her company, leaving him powerless to use it independently, or against her if needed. Phyllis pushed harder, arguing that Kane had lost everything and insisting she was his only viable path forward. Kane, however, remained skeptical, viewing her offer as nothing more than a calculated trap disguised as friendship. Before walking away, he made a chilling remark, hinting that he could develop his own AI system, unleash it against Phyllis's business, and even help restore Victor Newman's control over Newman Enterprises just to watch her unravel. Later, Kane approached Lily, sensing her distress and suggesting they put their differences aside. When he gently pressed her about Malcolm, Lily admitted she needed someone to talk to, but made it clear that Kane wasn't that person. Taking the hint, Kane backed off and left her alone. Meanwhile, at Crimson Lights, Stephanie dropped a life-altering truth on Holden Novak. The man Holden believed to be his father, Dr. Jerry Novak, was not biologically related to him. Stephanie explained that she had been pregnant by another man when Jerry came into her life, and he chose to raise Holden as his own. Though they had planned a future together, Jerry tragically passed away when Holden was still young. Stunned, Holden assumed his biological father was also gone, but Stephanie revealed otherwise. Despite his anger over her years of secrecy, she insisted his real father was a good man who now needed his help. When Malcolm arrived, Stephanie asked Holden to step outside, giving her a moment alone with Malcolm. She delivered devastating news: Lily could not be a donor due to the chemotherapy and radiation she had undergone during her cancer treatment. Still, Stephanie hinted there might be another possible match. Moments later, everything came to light. Stephanie confessed that Holden was Malcolm's son, explaining she had kept her pregnancy a secret after leaving town. At the time, Malcolm had moved on romantically, and Stephanie didn't want to interfere. She eventually built a life with Jerry, believing it was best to raise Holden without disrupting Malcolm's world. Malcolm questioned why she never reached out after Jerry's death. Stephanie admitted she kept delaying the truth, and at one point, she even believed Malcolm had died. By the time she learned he was alive, she had already mourned what might have been and struggled to reopen that chapter. Both Malcolm and Holden were frustrated by her choices, but Stephanie urged them to set their anger aside for now, as Malcolm's health was the priority. As the conversation continued, Holden began to grasp the gravity of the situation. Realizing he could be a potential stem cell donor, he sarcastically referred to himself as Malcolm's genetic jackpot. He was further shaken to learn that his half-sister, Lily, wasn't an option, leaving him stunned by the sudden expansion of his family. Malcolm knew he needed to inform Lily of the truth, while Holden struggled to process that he was not only Malcolm's son but also Lily's half-brother. Understanding the weight of it all, Malcolm gently asked if Holden would consider helping him. Back at the club, Lily received confirmation from her doctor, and it was the news she feared. Her past cancer treatments had disqualified her from being a donor, crushing her hopes of saving Malcolm. Despite this heartbreaking setback, upcoming developments hint that Lily won't give up. Determined as ever, she may find another way to support Malcolm, possibly by reaching Holden and helping him step into this unexpected role. Next update. Shocking revelations and tough choices shake Genoa City. The upcoming April 9th episode of The Y&RShockwave promises emotional moments and life-altering decisions for several key characters. Claire Newman finds herself growing closer to Holden Novak when he opens up and reveals a more vulnerable side. As Holden struggles to process shocking news about his past, Claire steps in to support him, offering guidance when he needs it most. Meanwhile, Lily Winters is dealing with a heartbreaking setback. After hoping she could be the donor to save Malcolm Winters, Lily learns she's not eligible due to her previous cancer treatment. The devastating news leaves her searching for comfort, which she finds in Tracy Abbott. Trusting Tracy's discretion, Lily may share parts of Malcolm's condition and receive much-needed encouragement and advice. Holden, on the other hand, is reeling after discovering that Malcolm is his biological father, and that Lily is his half-sister. Adding to the pressure, Holden learns he could be a stem cell match capable of saving Malcolm's life. Overwhelmed by the responsibility, he turns to Claire for insight. Although Claire still has concerns about Holden's past secrecy regarding Los Angeles, she believes in his good nature. She gently suggests that doing nothing might weigh heavily on him, while also respecting that the decision is ultimately his. This moment of honesty helps deepen the connection between Claire and Holden, as he entrusts her with such personal information. Elsewhere, Dr. Stephanie Simmons shares a private and emotional conversation with Malcolm. She expresses deep regret for keeping the truth about Holden's paternity hidden for so long and vows to make amends. Malcolm, however, is focused on hope, hoping Holden will agree to testing and possibly become the key to saving his life. With family secrets unraveling and difficult choices ahead, more drama is set to unfold in Genoa City. Next update. Deadly setup ahead? Matt targets the Newman brothers. Upcoming twists on The Young and the Restless hint at a dangerous scheme brewing, as Matt Clark prepares to execute a chilling plan. After tracking down where Nick Newman is staying, Matt sneaks into his room and lies in wait. When Nick returns, he senses something isn't right, but it may already be too late. As Nick steps inside, Matt hides behind the door, ready to strike at the perfect moment. Once Nick turns his back, Matt is expected to attack, possibly overpowering him, covering his head, and rendering him unconscious. There's a strong chance Nick could be drugged and moved elsewhere, all as part of a setup designed to implicate him in a serious crime. Longtime viewers will recall that Matt has framed Nick before, even orchestrating a situation that landed him in prison years ago. This time, the stakes may be even higher, and Adam Newman could be pulled into the chaos. Matt might ensure Adam unknowingly consumes a drugged drink, leaving him vulnerable as the plot unfolds. From there, it's possible both Adam and Nick could be placed at the scene of a murder. Suspicion is growing that Riza could become the victim. If Matt has already taken her life, potentially out of anger over her betrayal with a spider, he may stage the scene to make it look like the Newman brothers are responsible. If the plan succeeds, Adam and Nick could wake up to a horrifying discovery, surrounded by evidence pointing directly at them. With their freedom on the line, they'd have to act fast to prove they've been set up. Of course, there's also a possibility Matt's plan targets only Adam, while he handles Nick separately. Either way, danger looms large, and Riza's fate could be sealed if Matt follows through. More shocking developments are on the horizon as Matt's sinister plot unfolds. Next update. A life-saving twist, could Holden be Malcolm's only hope? Upcoming developments on The Young and the Restless suggest an emotional journey as Lily Winters desperately hopes to save Malcolm Winters, who is battling aplastic anemia and urgently needs a bone marrow donor. For Lily, this situation is deeply personal. After losing Neil Winters without warning, she carries lingering regret over not being able to help him. Now, with Malcolm's life hanging in the balance, Lily sees a chance to make a difference, perhaps even redeem herself by stepping in for her biological father. However, things may not unfold the way Lily hopes. While she wants to be the perfect donor match, signs point to another possibility: Holden Novak could ultimately be the one who holds the key to Malcolm's survival. Convincing Holden won't be easy. He's already shaken after learning that Dr. Stephanie Simmons kept the truth about Malcolm being his biological father hidden for years. That revelation could spark anger and confusion, leaving Holden questioning why he should risk everything for a man he barely knows. This is where Lily may step in as a crucial influence. As Holden's newly discovered half-sister, she might appeal to their shared connection and urge him to reconsider. Even if Lily can't be the donor herself, she could still play a vital role by encouraging Holden to get tested. Spoilers for the April 10th episode hint that Lily will do everything she can to support Malcolm, which may include an emotional plea to Holden. Her determination could be the turning point that pushes him to take the test. If Holden is confirmed as a match, he may gradually accept the responsibility and choose to help. By becoming Malcolm's donor, Holden could ultimately save his life, emerging as an unexpected hero in the process. While this act wouldn't instantly repair their complicated relationship, it could open the door to something meaningful. A heartfelt moment between father and son might mark the beginning of a deeper bond. As the drama intensifies, Holden will continue to wrestle with difficult emotions and decisions. The road ahead won't be easy, but his choice could change everything for Malcolm and for himself. For more of the latest updates and behind-the-scenes secrets from Young and the Restless, make sure to hit subscribe and ring that bell. Stay in the know with every new release.